about that. First is that when you serve in the military, there's a culture that is, it's all about we. It's us as a unit. It's defending the country. It's looking out for the American people, looking out for your fellow brother or sister in arms. It's that kind of camaraderie. And even when it's contentious, and trust me, it is. I was the only female aviator in my squadron. It was a pain in the ass half the time. And I always tell people, like, talk about a male-dominated environment, right? But I think that even in that contentious environment, there's still this underlying, like, I'm here for you kind of feeling. And I think when people leave the military and they go out into the civilian world, it's almost like a culture shock. Because in the military, you're taken care of. You have healthcare is like a no-brainer. There's no copay. There's no monthly payment. It just happens. Healthcare happens for you. Paid leave, fleet and family services, all kinds of services that are available for the military. And you get used to this feeling of community and care and support. And you go out in the civilian world and you're like, wow, this is really different. And I know that's what happened for me. And that's what happened for a lot of people I know that are former military. And it makes you say, you know what? I want to take my experience and see if I can help this world be more like the military in that way, in terms of the care. And there's so much structure in the military, and there's a lot of similarities between government and military in terms of, no kidding, like chain of command, paperwork, regulations, all of the things you get used to. So it's kind of a comfort zone too, because we're used to that kind of feeling. I look at a lot of the General Assembly legal paperwork. I'm like, yep, that looks familiar. I know that form. So there's a familiarity there. But in terms of running as a Democrat, I think that the reason why there's this perception that, military equals Republican, I think that's because historically there was a wave of money into the military when Republicans were in office. And that kind of trickled down to, okay, so if you support the military, you're Republican because that's who gives it. But it's actually not true. If you look at the past presidents, the past few decades, you'll see a similarity actually across the board of how much money the military gets. And it's up and down. I'm sure there's waves, but I do think that it's not an accurate perception, because I know there were a ton of progressive people in the military when I was in there, and there still are. And I think that right now we feel the call to service. That's what happened to me. It happened to me on 9/11, and it happened to me after 2016. I felt the call to service to make a difference and step up.
All right. I got to ask, how do you run for office with 5 kids? I've got 2 kids, and I will work full time, and I feel totally overwhelmed all the time.
We're very blessed. I own my own business, and my husband is amazing. He's my business partner. He also helps me manage the campaign. We have a great campaign team that he helps manage, and he's a stay-at-home dad. He does most of the shuttling to and from school. He does most of the cooking, and it's really, I could not do this without him. It's really, I give almost all the credit to him for letting me do this, because he's more than just supportive. He is engaged. He's with me at as many events as he can. And I think that we'd like to think that we're setting a new paradigm. It used, for years and years, it was behind every good man is a strong woman, right? All that kind of stuff. Well, I think that's changing. And I think we need to give permission to men to take what was a historically female role, which is changing. There's no such thing as a female role anymore, right? It's all about partnership and pitching in and who can do what. And I believe, from my experience and my talking to people, there's a lot of men that welcome the chance to put the family as their focus and have the woman, the other person in the relationship, step forward. However, unfortunately, in most households, most people have to work. Most people have to have both people have to have at least a part-time job. We're really not in the kind of society anymore where one person works and one person stays at home. That's more and more rare. And that's why affordable childcare is so important, because we end up paying for other people to kind of look after our kids pretty soon after birth. And that's part of the problem too.
What do your kids think about you running?
Oh, they like it, but they like the excitement. They like the events. They like meeting the people. They like the media. They like seeing me when I get media coverage. But I have to tell you, the mommy guilt is so overwhelming, especially now that we're kind of in the home stretch. When I come home for 30 minutes and then I got to go back out to an event and they're like, "You're leaving again?" And I'm like, oh, and my heart just, oh. And I guess I love my kids so much, but I know it sounds cheesy, but I am doing this for them too. I want my kids to be able to be at home with their kids when they have them. I want to be able to visit my grandkids and have both parents home when I'm visiting those newly born grandkids, and I believe that what I and a lot of other people running for office are doing is setting that groundwork to have a whole different kind of government, a people-centered government, a family-centered government, much more like other countries in the world that take care of their people a lot better than we do, honestly.
All right. Is there anything else that you want to make sure we talk about?
I wouldn't be where I'm at without the support of people and organizations, especially organizations like Vote, Run, Lead, which is a nonpartisan nonprofit that helps women run for office. And what's unusual about them is not only are they nonpartisan, but they are state and lower. So you see a lot of organizations that are focused on congressional, and Vote, Run, Lead really is looking at those local races. All politics is local, you know. Erin Velarde is the director, and she's fantastic. And in the military, we have this saying, the front office sets the tone. You have a commanding officer and executive officer that treat people a certain way that trickles down. Erin is a great example of how really effective, kind, strong leadership makes a difference, because she looks out for every single one of the women that are running. They have online resources. They have fantastic mentorship system, and they're just wonderful. And I highly recommend any woman, even just interested or thinking about running for office, just check out Vote, Run, Lead online and on Facebook.
So if our listeners would like to help out your campaign, how can they do that?
Several ways. They can go to the website, eve33.com, and there's different things there: volunteer, sign up, donate. You can also just email ask@evehurwitz.com, EVEHURWITZ.com, and everything that is there. We're also on Facebook, Eve Hurwitz for Maryland Senate 33, and Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Awesome. We'll put those links up on our website as well. So, Eve, thank you so much, both for running for office and for speaking with me on short notice today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Two Broads Talking Politics. Our theme song is called Are You Listening? Off of the album Elephant Shaped Trees by the band Immunuri, and we're using it with permission of the band. Our logo and other original artwork is by Matthew Weflin and was created for use by this podcast.